What's up, everybody? Mark with Kardavox Academy, and I'm feeling overwhelmed. My friends, because we have had a new despised icon, which a lot of people want me to check out, and I want to check out because I've actually, other than a handful of songs, never really listened to Despised Icon, so I don't really know what to expect. A lot of people have been asking me to cover a band called Via Novo. Never really heard them. They dropped a new song recently, and then this dropped today, as of the time of this recording. So I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm going to try to get a video out for each of these soon, because what I don't want to do is overrun the channel with Lorna Shore, but I do want to talk about Lorna Shore because as a full-time vocal coach and a vocalist myself, there's a lot of good vocal education opportunity here, right? There's a lot. I mean, when you analyze Will's voice, there's a lot to talk about. And that's what I do for a living. I teach people how to go or safely and efficiently. So I'm going to go ahead and get straight into it because holy crap, this is 7 minutes and 19 seconds. That's a long song. I love long songs. I prefer them generally, so I'm actually feeling pretty good about it, but I you know, you got to watch the clock. Now, real quick before I get going, this video does not have a sponsor, but I just want to tell you about something very cool. My student, who I'm going to hopefully say his name correct, Joachim, he's out of the Netherlands. He has been working on plugins in the plugin industry for over 10 years. He's done a lot of amazing work, and he has a vocal plugin that he's actually released as of today, August 14th. That's the day that I recorded this video. It is called the Screamer plugin from Ablaze Audio, and I've been using it pretty exclusively recently. If you go to Instagram and you look at some of the vocal things I've put up, I've done a lot of rewrites and playthroughs and vocal demonstrations, and I've been using the Screamer plugin for those, and it's super easy to use and it's super awesome. Again, he is not paying me to say this. He's a student of mine and he showed it to me and I love it, and I just want to tell you all about it. It's super simple to use. It's super easy and intuitive. It basically works on a 3-step process of controlling, thickening, and adding flavor to your vocals. It can make them wide. It can make them sound beefy. It can make them sound bright. It can make them sound heavy. And the best thing about it is he is a very good vocalist himself. So when he was building this plugin, he knew what he would want and he knew what he would be looking for. And so he put it all together. It's out and available now. I absolutely think you should go check it out. It has amazing features. It's so easy to use. It's got custom algorithms for extreme vocals, 0 latency recording. It's super cool. I found it to be basically plug and play. And that's somebody who doesn't do a lot of production and struggles getting plugins to work more frequently than I would admit. If this dumb caveman boy can get the Screamer plugin going, you can too. So I'll put all the links in the description below. But again, it's super cool, and I'm really proud of him for releasing it. This is his flagship passion product, and he's put over 10 years of experience behind it. Super easy to use. Some of my students have been using it. Go check it out. See if you'll like it, and if you do use it, let me know in the comments below. Yeah, I'm spooked. I'm spooked. let's pause it there. Okay. So before anything, I'm feeling very positively about how this song is going to go. A couple of people in my last couple Lorna Shore videos have said in the comments, I feel like Mark's not like a huge Lorna Shore fan. That's true, actually. I don't dislike Lorna Shore at all. In fact, I think that To the Hellfire is like probably one of my favorite deathcore songs that's released in the past like 10 years. I love that song. And there are some of my favorite deathcore moments on Pain Remains, but some of the stuff we've been hearing recently, there's nothing bad with it. It's just less to my taste. This seems like we're bringing some of that heavy back. I loved, and it's good to hear Will going crazy like this again. And I get it. Like, nobody wants to feel like they have to be that all the time, but like Will's doing Will stuff, and I like that. I'm gonna let the song go a little bit, and I'm gonna try to put on a little bit more of a vocal coach ear. But like the moment I heard him doing these big dynamic shifts and changes, I was like, ooh, and I started listening as a metal fan rather than a vocal coach, and that's not what I'm here to do. Also, this video is sick. It's giving me very strong like Hereditary vibes, kind of. Hot take, Hereditary was better than Midsommar. That's just my feeling. I love that movie. But let's keep going. We're gonna talk vocal technique. We're gonna talk all that stuff, but dang, I'm feeling very good about this track. Jesus, what? Y'all, I fully respect any band that wants to change vibes, right? But this is the Lorna Shore that I signed up to listen to back in the day, right? This song is sick. This song is sick. I'm having a really hard time being a vocal coach right now because I'm hearing so many cool things, and I just want to listen to this for fun. I almost wish I cheated and listened to this ahead of time and then was like, oh, first time listen. So I could just get that out of the way. Like, what is going on in this video? It's like a movie I would want to watch, okay? But let's be objective here, right? Let's be focused, right? It's good to really get into a Lorna Shore song again. I'm having a good time with this. So anyway, let's talk about this. One concept I've been thinking about a lot, and that's very appropriate here, is our ability to move between vocal styles, right? Our ability to move between vocal styles and our ability to do it smoothly. I've talked about this before, that I think that when it comes to deathcore, Will is one of the best at this. Okay. I've already gone over that in great detail a couple of videos ago. I don't remember which one it was for, but it was one of the singles off their new album coming next month, I believe, which I'm very excited for. Now more excited for. But one thing that Will does that allows him to keep moving through styles so consistently is keeping his distortion so consistent, right? If you've seen the laryngoscopy that Will did with the charismatic voice years ago, right? You'll know that a lot of his screams are variations of each other. Not all of them, of course, right? I can't summarize an hour-long analysis of his voice in a handful of sentences. So there's going to be a little bit of oversimplification here. That's just almost like the nature of it. But a lot of his screams utilize this sort of thin, crispy, TV staticky sound. And what that allows us to do, and this is really where I think a lot of like the signature sounds of deathcore really shine, is that allows us to offload work onto our vocal tract, right? Sorry, oral space, not vocal tract, oral space, the space of the mouth. Correct myself there. What do I mean by this, right? One thing you can do is you can take in here. In fact, I'll show you. You can take, and this is an exercise I do with my students sometimes to just help them understand. you can take TV static, like a TV static 10 hours, type that into Spotify, and you can practice vowel shapes and tongue positions by sticking the phone up to your mouth. Let's see if this works, right? So I've got the TV static here. Gonna turn my mic up a little bit. Right? So this is exactly what I mean. And I know that's kind of like, that's where viewership in the analytics is going to either entirely drop off or spike. But this is a really important factor to understand because it means that we're not going to put a ton of work on our actual larynx, right? So again, my vocals are very different, but let's say I was doing like a high vocal, like a, right? A lot of times if I want to move very quickly, even just within that high, right? Not going high, low, mid, right? Just within that high, if I want to get a lot of different characters, right? It's the shape of the vocal tract that allows me to make those movements. And because a lot of his vocals run on that sound, he's able to not only add nuance and dynamics in one space, but move across spaces and do that so super consistently. And that's why I always say, you know, regardless of what you think about deathcore, I know there are a lot of, you know, death metal grogs out there, as Alex Tyne, the vocalist of Aversion's Crown, said in a recent video. Listen, you can dislike deathcore all you want. You can dislike deathcore vocals all you want, but you got to admit, when it comes to dynamics, it's a pretty good genre for it, right? You can also hear, now part of this is due to compression and equalization and normalizing tracks, but you can hear that a lot of his vocals are on roughly the same playing field as each other, right? Some vocals, like a lot of my vocals, this isn't true for everybody, but a lot of my vocals have a ton of variation in volume, like a low is not that loud, right? But that's super loud, right? That's neither a bad thing nor a good thing, but it does make being more acrobatic easier if a lot of your vocals are going to be roughly the same pressure and power. Now, some of this, I've never been in the room with him when he's doing vocals, and I'm not part of his body when he does vocals. So, you know, if some of his screams are a little bit louder than I'm anticipating or something, so mote it be, I'll walk that back a bit. But it is a common thing that you find in a lot of like classically trained singers, right? The goal of moving across the entire voice with basically the same effort, not a lot of variation, and like relying on press and, you know, belty, huge volume power. So it's interesting that he has some of that similarity. Let's keep going because I'm very excited to listen to more of this, and I have to be professional, Mark. Vocal coach Mark, activate. Oh. That was sick. That was really cool. So he's doing these barky, like it's multi-layered. We hear some panning. It's really cool. I don't know if my brain just added this or if I'm actually hearing it, but it was almost as if he had like this, he was doing like this, like, you know, oh, wow, right? But it's almost as if it was da-na, right? And I'm not going for it because I don't even know how I would approach that, right? I can do a lot of different vocal styles, but I don't even know how I would approach that, right? But it was like this pure grit scream with this da-na, just subtly in the background. Would be interesting to know if that's like again, sometimes our brain sees static and inserts things, or if there's a clean vocal layer behind it, or if he's just got a tiny little bit of pitch in all those screams and it's an intentional movement. And because they're layered, it pops through the mix. That would be sick. There's a lot of really cool like panning and back and forth we're getting with the vocal patterns too. It's not just like, oh, okay, I'm screaming over a deathcore track. And just everybody shut up. Yo, jeez, that's what I've been, yeah, yes, that's what I've been wanting. Just bringing back that's what I'm saying, man. That's what I've been wanting. From a personal perspective, that's the Lorna Shore I've been wanting. Yes, I'm pumped. I wish the sword was easier to get down and this chair was one that I was willing to chop to bits. Gosh, that is disgusting. That is atrocious. There are so many. We got to hear that again, guys. I'm sorry. We got to hear that again. We got to hear that again. That's sick. I literally got to type to people right now. This track is a banger. Y'all, I'm telling my peeps. Cause super good. Holy cow. Let's listen to that again. Let's go, I think here, 254. I don't apologize for my outburst. Jesus Christ. God. So let's talk about, I almost took out a lamp. I don't care. It'd be worth it. So let's talk about, Jesus Christ. Let's talk about some of that absolute disgusting stink. Okay. Dude, there's a whole 2-hour video in there, guys. What the hell? Okay, so I can only address one sound, but before I do that, I just want to say that to me is very, very creative, very artistic, very inspired vocal writing. Okay? Very inspired vocal writing. It is so easy. And with their other singles, I was kind of wondering if they were falling into this path, right? Especially with deathcore. It's so easy to have a badass riff and you just kind of it's really easy to just tussle on time, right? But here we have a lot of dynamic movement in and out of the riff. Right? We have hanging on right before a vocal part punches in. We have the drums seemingly setting up the onset of certain little phrases he does, right? This is super cool. But I want to talk about one specific sound. Now, I'm not going to tell you how he does it because I don't do any vocals like him, okay? But I'm going to tell you how I would create this sound. And it's this sort of right? That sort of really tight, really small, really nasty high vocal. It's an excellent vocal to do. Great for narration. You can talk in it. You can talk in it like this. You can just do a bunch of really cool Larsenio Rowe, Ryan Vale, right, sort of sounds. It's a lot of fun to do. It's a more advanced sound, but like it's sick in this song. So to do this first, you have to have a high vocal. I find this easier to get into from a false chord bass, but that's because that's a lot of what I do is false chord based stuff. If it's not a pure false chord sound, it's a sound that is easiest gotten to from false chord, at least for me. But basically, I've got a false chord mid, right? Now I'm not going to use that mid, but I'm going to use that mid to climb up to a high. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to climb up to a high with I'm going to climb up to a high first with timbre, first with placement. So it's like I'm going to go a I ah, a I ah, a I ah, a I ah. Do you hear how it's getting a little bit brighter? A I ah, a I. I'm going to continue following that brightness. A I I I I I. Right? So I've got this sort of sound right here. Right? Now, with that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to think about what I feel in the back of my mouth, right? That's one of the things I do the most with my students. We talk about what the screams feel like. We can use definitions all day, right? We can reference muscles and anatomy all day, and that's very valuable and very important to do. But at the end of the day, we relate to our bodies primarily through feeling and emotion, okay? It's what it is, somatic cues. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about what I feel back here. I feel closure. You can kind of see it a little bit, right? In the back of my mouth. You can see what are the palatal. Maybe if I shine a flashlight in there. Guys, this video is just purely for fun now. I don't even care how it does numbers wise. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this my way because I'm having an absolute blast, right? So I'm here. Aha. Ah. Aha. That closure, those palatopharyngeal folds, that's where I'm feeling the vast majority of this distortion. And that's why a lot of times when people are like, I call those false chord highs because that's what most people call them, but they don't feel like your traditional fry high and they don't feel like a false chord mid at all. That's why I say I get to them from a false chord, right? I'm going to use that and I'm going to close up on it. I'm going to stop on it. Now this part I can't really use the flashlight for because I got to use the back of my tongue. I'm going to use the back of my tongue and I'm going to use my soft palate and I'm going to go, and if I do that with my normal voice, it creates a crow sound. What if I do that with a high vocal? Now, what if I really cinch it up? I'm going to do a lot of closure, but I'm not doing it down here, right? I'm doing it up here. That's how I would get that sound. Is that how he's getting the sound? Probably not. But that's how I would do it. And he sounds sick. Yeah, I'm definitely doing an album review. Like I did for Shadow of Intent. Definitely doing an album review. This is gnarly. Oh, Lord. it sounds like a clean vocal layer in the back. Which now I'm like, you know, in previous ones, I'm like, I really like the way the vocals are mixed. Maybe my opinion is changing slightly. Because that's pretty impressive to be getting all of those things audible equally. I don't know who did the production on this album. I probably looked it up once and forgot. But yeah, I also love how much like over the top vomit he's doing. And when I say over the top, I don't mean like, you know, over dramatic, over the top. Oh, this is over the top. I mean, literally like the approach, like approaching your screams from above downward, right? Above downward. This is something that relates to, you know, you've probably seen Melissa Cross talk about this back in the day, especially if you, like me and many others, had the Zen of Screaming DVD, you know, above the pencil. It sort of builds on that concept of masky maxilla vibration of the voice. Right. If I'm above the pencil or singing into my mask, hey, yeah, yeah, versus under, hey, under is usually pretty straining as well, especially over time. Well, we can do this with our screams. We should. Much of the screams, and this is more, well, this is like a me philosophy. Some people disagree with this, just bear that in mind. But I'm a big fan of pretty much every scream I do being either in the mask or into the back of the lips, right? I rarely, unless I'm doing some intentionally like super slammy stuff, and I'm not a slam vocalist, so like, but like this, like that sort of sound, which if I'm doing that, I'm just doing it for fun. Mostly I'm over. And so he's got like these, yeah, like a lot of that sounds that I'm really into right now. And I love how he's punctuating. The vocals on his composition here sounds very intentional. And that's not to say that it hasn't been intentional in the past, right? You don't get this far vocally not caring about your vocal composition, but like the choices, like again, I wasn't in the room with him, I have no idea, but if I was to guess a song that he had the most fun writing vocally, this sounds like it. This sounds like it, right? Also, good Lord, this video, Jesus Christ. Now, obviously, I've never given birth to a child, and I never will. It's an anatomical impossibility. But I've been in the room. I was helping my wife, you know, she was in labor and she was pushing. And let me tell you, like, shout out to those of us who are strong enough to give birth, because it is wild. And I feel like this video, like this, again, I don't want to get out of my lane, because this is just me trying to be an empathetic human watching from the outside. Not making statements about people who have given birth, but I will say that this video would potentially be kind of tricky to watch for me if I was in that space, because, you know, just having sat quietly and listened while others were speaking and not interjected my own, well, I think, there's very frequently after childbirth, like this really out of body feeling because what you've gone through, it's nuts. And so I feel like, especially if I had just given birth and I saw this video, it would not be like great. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but like, oof. It is brutal. And it seems like flashbacks too. It seems like the kid sitting in that chair at the beginning, like, right? You know, I do vocal analysis, not media analysis. So if that's obvious, I'm not trying to be like, made you think. But anyways, let's keep going. Oh, yes. Y'all, I'm going to pause it there. This is going to be my last pause for the video, because like I can already tell that something nuts is happening. I don't know, 2 minutes left. Maybe it won't be my last pause for the video, but I just got to give a shout out. I don't really talk about drums and guitar and everything because that's not my thing. It's not my lane, but I just want to give a shout out to, there was a really cool compositional choice here that I absolutely love. There were these black metal strumming chords, and then they moved into the guitar solo. So those little black metal chords, I love them because, as any of you know, black metal is like my first love. And you know, so I was like, oh, that's a cool little black metal moment. Like, not just like, oh, black metal trope. Like, yeah, that's some like black metal shit. Then we get the guitar solo, and then we have a drum change into a full-on black metal section, like really nice, like black metal riffing, black metal drums with a shreddy guitar solo over it. That was, ooh, they were like, you like black metal? We're not giving it to you. Just kidding. That was sick. That was very cool. That was very cool. Phenomenal track. Stellar. Amazing. The whole thing. Hey everybody, Walter Goggins here. I don't give a fuck about Walter Goggins. Sorry, Walter. I actually don't even really know who you are. You just interrupted what I was trying to say. Like the coordination of the video and the music and the little picture, like, right? What? So much artistic goodness in this song, so much heavy, nasty, but intentional, right? Like, yeah, it was vocal buffet. Yeah, it was lots of riffing, but this was not just, you know, slap on a plate, riff salad, vocal salad. No. There was a ton of intentionality here. Just like, listen, I recently passed 500 uploads on this stupid channel. Okay. I say stupid. I'm just being silly. 500 uploads. Okay. I'm not that far away from 40. Sometimes I feel a little disenchanted with music. Okay. But holy hell, that was sick. That was very cool. I love that song. I love that. My initial that's a strong, that's almost a 10 out of 10er. The only thing I'm just still not set on is the mix. But let's talk vocals. Yeah, so guys, this is going to be a little less vocal analysis heavy, but I kind of don't care, you know, because what a fun what an interesting, what an engaging song to listen to. The whole thing again, and it's really, as like a father, as a dad, as someone who has watched multiple women go through some serious postpartum depression and dissociation. I don't know if that's what the video was about, but that's kind of what it struck me to be as. And like, what a, what a difficult thing to go through, especially like if your partner is like a deadbeat, So I guess what I'm trying to say, the main thing that video makes me feel is like, hey, my fellow husbands, fathers, birth partners, whoever you are, right? Be there for the pregnant people in your life, okay? Don't let them feel lost and abandoned, okay? Be supportive. Be present. Taking away a positive message from a really horrific video, like we're just bringing it in, right? Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I just want to stop this video and go listen to that song for fun, like 4 more times. So that's what I'm gonna do, right? That's what I'm gonna do. If you like the content, please share and subscribe. If you want to learn how to do metal vocals, stuff like safely and efficiently, I give vocals all the time, been doing it for years, given thousands of lessons to thousands of students. Would love to help you as well. There will definitely be a full, in-depth, track-by-track album review of this when it drops. And that's all I have to say. Many thanks, much love, I'm out.